Hello. There have been quite a few repeating phrases, and I will get into those in a moment, but I just read something that inspired me to push record. What is aligned for you is about to meet you halfway. That stood out to me. Also, 007, 007, 707, 717, ones and sevens, zeros and sevens could be significant. And the song Meet Me Halfway from the Black Eyed Peas came up on my YouTube a playlist. I put a song, not a playlist, but it just plays the next video. And that song was about to come on earlier, and then I don't know what happened. Something happened and it switched to a different song. But it really caught my attention. And I kind of mentally clocked it. And then now I just read that. And yeah, so I'm also seeing 3333. So the phrases that have been coming through, and the way that they've been coming through is also holding a potent delivery. I would see a phrase or hear a phrase, and then almost within seconds I would see or hear it again. And this happened back to back the last day or so with, I think it was 3 different phrases. So that felt really significant to mention as well. I just saw 888 on the timer, and the song Now Meet Me Halfway is just playing on repeat in my mind. Okay, so one of the phrases that came through, you are not lost. That phrase came through multiple times. You are not lost. Hidden in plain sight. Same thing. Hidden in plain sight. And the third phrase, okay, I can't find the third phrase, so we'll see if that comes back. Songs with the word amazed or amazing in them. So that, my bad, it wasn't the third phrase, it was, yeah. So Baby, I'm Amazed by You. Who sings that song? Is it Lone Star? And then there's a song, I think by the Beatles. My bad. Paul McCartney in his solo career, not the Beatles. So those 2 songs, and really any song that has the word amazed or amazing. Okay, so this particular transmission feels very rooted in love. So however that is coming through for you, can be inner union, inner love, self-love, connected to someone externally. Either one, both. Take it how it fits for you. Yeah, it's so funny. I was about to say, I've been feeling this very sensual energy. And just as I was about to say that, my body said it for me. I had this wave of sensual warmth flow through the root and sacral areas. And then I felt something almost clamping around my heel. And I heard the phrase Achilles heel. So, spiritually, an Achilles heel can represent your deepest unseen vulnerability, unhealed emotional wound, or egoic blind spot, stemming from Greek mythology, symbolizing the part of yourself you may try to armor, hide, or deny, but which ultimately serves as a catalyst for genuine spiritual growth and surrender. Interestingly, I just was trying to read the next part, and it says the unconscious wound, but for some reason I saw the word unicorn. So unicorns could be significant in some way. And also, I just released a transmission today. Well, I don't know when I'm uploading this. So on the 24th of May is when I released the transmission Subconscious Illumination. Okay. I wrote down Cotton Candy Realm. So the Cotton Candy Realm is something that came to me through inner planes travel or interdimensional travel, astral travel, etc. years back, and it had a very deep connection to like a masculine feminine dynamic of astral traveling. In particular with this idea of like the realm of like inner child, innocence, youth type of experience. Like you can think of it like almost like the, here we're talking about the Achilles heel and this like unseen vulnerability. So like the Cotton Candy Realm came in as like this space and place of inner planes meeting where there was like full the innocence of expression and vulnerability. Now it always came in as like, so what sparked this, because I felt like I haven't consciously traveled there in a couple of years, where I am here in Montenegro, the clouds, I took a photo actually, the clouds had that like pink, almost like orangey sherbet, and like at sunsets the last 2 days, it's been these like big puffy clouds, almost like cotton candy, and it just reminded me of the Cotton Candy Realm. I don't know where that name came from. Like when I came back from one of the travels a few years back, that was the name that just popped in my mind. I shouldn't say that. That's what I was shown. So the Cotton Candy Realm, feel free if you haven't already, maybe you've like experienced something similar and maybe there's a different name that came to you or maybe no name, but yeah. I would always feel like I was in these like cotton candy like clouds, hence the Cotton Candy Realm. So when I've even had some dreams actually of this space. Ooh, my right eye just started to like itch a little bit and like almost get a bit uncomfortable. I'm being shown Wadjet. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Wadjet. Wadjet. The ancient Egyptian cobra goddess. The protector of Lower Egypt, often depicted as a rearing cobra, known as the uraeus, on the crowns of pharaohs. Ooh. Okay, well. I'm also being reminded of the cobra in Tom Kenyon's book. If anyone's familiar with the Book of the Hathors, he talks about like the cobra and the red and white serpentine drops and the whole like alchemy of Kundalini, the integrated masculine and feminine. Oh, as I'm talking about this, my body is like literally in real time like processing through this like liquid warmth up and down like the spine and the lower Egypt on the body, if you will. Yeah, so there seems to be this collective cobra goddess movement, especially in the lower centers for the feminine and maybe the upper for the masculine. Of course, we possess both, so some of us may be experiencing both simultaneously. So I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into this because also, I don't remember how long ago, but on YouTube I recorded, I think I called it like Kundalini Shakeup, where there was a lot of people feeling a ping or a call to travel like literally on the planet, there's like a lot of movement of people feeling called to like different types of travel depending on your own personal Akash. Physical travel, short-term, long-term, astral travel, nomadic, maybe traveling a month here, a month there. Each of us will have a different thing, but the idea is that people were feeling this idea of movement. And even if you're like, oh, like I don't really travel that much, maybe you were guided to like travel in your own city or take walks or walk around your neighborhood. There's just something about this idea of like the moving grid. And some of us also feel called to, again, do it astrally as well. So moving with this in mind, I just felt both of my temples. The last like 20 minutes, my temples have been just pulsating throughout my body and giving these like different messages and sensations. So the temples can represent like spiritual gateways. Yeah, so there's something about these. I just posted also an 1111 transmission, the 1111 gateway that has been so present lately. Keylontic science and like the 11th Stargate, 11th dimensional perspective. It feels like a lot of, what word do I want to use? I was being shown a tuning fork, but I heard the word pitchfork. So there's something about that like shadowy aspect of like, maybe at some point in time, like a tuning fork could have been perceived as a pitchfork with lack of education or lack of like wisdom being passed down and remembered, and like literally, when people say like, oh, I gatekeep something, there's something about like gatekept, is that a word? Gatekept information. I don't know why, I just keep being shown like the medieval times, and it's like, yeah, like someone may, like a person who wasn't supposed to be educated knew things, and then the whole community is like, they're a witch, burn them. I'm being shown like things like that for some reason. I also just flashed the words ancient Babylon. Oh my gosh, I'm being shown, I haven't watched this movie in so long, Stardust. My mom and I used to watch that movie together. So cute. And the Babylonian candles, if you're familiar with the movie, where they could like light this black Babylonian candle and they could basically travel anywhere that they wanted to. There's a lot that's been coming up about like the idea of time travel. And of course, there's like the sci-fi version of time travel, and who knows? I mean, anything's possible, right? But this also idea of like existing out of the time matrix that most of the masses live within. So time travel and that sort of concept. Perceiving your senses being heightened and perceiving timeline shifts, timeline endings, like, maybe before most of the people around you. So it's almost like I'm being shown like Janet from The Good Place, how she can like, she explains like, oh, I exist and perceive time differently than the rest of you. So like, it feels like time isn't really the same for me as it is for you. So it's almost like that kind of concept. Now, bringing this all back to, I'm hearing the song again, Meet Me Halfway. Okay, so yesterday I was going to record this transmission, but that did not happen. I was in the spaciest, like just pure space cadet energy. I feel like I haven't had that in a while. Like, just no matter what I did, I just could not really get grounded. I left my credit card. I went to the market to get a few little things, and I don't use my credit card that often these days, or my debit card. And I like literally walked out of the store without it. Like, I used to do stuff like that all the time years ago. And I just like then went back to where I was staying, and I kept dropping things. Like, I was just very ungrounded. And I was like, what is this? Like, I forgot that I actually used to be like, I have my moments, don't get me wrong, but I used to be ungrounded much more often, like years ago. Anyway, so I kept getting this like, in like the masculine collective, there was like this, I felt like I was picking up on energy transference. There's like this, like very spacey, fantasizing sort of like energy going on. Whew. And as soon as I said that, my ribs started to light up, and I often talk about the ribs being like empathic absorption. So yeah. What are they fantasizing about? Okay, so I earlier today got a flash from, I think it was the clouds. I was looking at the clouds. I was not intending to receive anything, but I saw it clear as day. There was a feminine figure, I will say. Feminine figure, and like the breasts were just like so delicately exposed, while the feminine was laying on the back is what it looked like laying on her back. And the masculine looked above the feminine, massaging the breasts with very straight arms. The arms were super straight and the hands were very stretched out. It was like a very specific image. Now, I always say gender does not matter. Everyone has some sort of something, it doesn't have to be like, I'm just using energetics, but please take it how it fits for you. The one receiving the massage would be in that feminine yin receiving, and then the one giving is the masculine charge. So, but yeah. And as I'm like talking about this, all of a sudden I literally became breathless. Whew. I like cannot catch my breath. I might need to pause. Whew. No, I'm going to sit through it. And you guys are sitting through it with me. But yeah, there was like this breathless, I did not feel that earlier. I'm feeling it now though, as I'm tapping deeper into this energy. And the waves again of warmth that are just flowing through me are quite lovely. Bliss codes. I kept hearing that too the last 2 days. I haven't talked about this in a while. The pleasure pulse and bliss codes were like just in the ethers and starting to like, I talked about a sun sprinkle or a sun shower, a sprinkle shower, a sun sprinkle that I experienced today in the subconscious illumination video. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but yeah, it's like that sort of sprinkling of warmth that feels like this, like very like sun and the moon, like the sun and the moon, like coming together. Like it's this almost like art of divinatory poetry. Like I just feel like I want to like wave my hands in the air. It's like a very romantic and joyful experience, but then we have that Achilles heel, like this deep vulnerability and unconscious, the collective unconscious wounds that are also kind of I'm seeing this like image of like I'm popping a balloon, like something's being popped. Now I'm getting that scene from Mean Girls when like Lindsay Lohan is talking about Katie Heron when she's like, what happens when you get bit by a snake? You have to suck out all the poison. So it's kind of like this, like the Ouroboros eating its own tail, it's like this cycle. It's like both are existing right now. And as the Ouroboros, as these cycles are closing, there's, for the collective I'm tuning into, it's like, yeah, this sprinkle of and waves of warmth that are just here. They're here. It feels really lovely, but it also feels tempered. Like I don't feel like it's like this genuine, I didn't mean to say that. Right, it feels genuine. It doesn't feel almost like manic, like sometimes we go through these luciferic pulses of like, luciferic meaning like light bearing, like almost like ecstatic, which I'm not saying we can't have periods of ecstasy, but overall this feels very tempered for the most part. And yeah, the feminine polarity, like from that image I was being shown, right, like it's like right now the alignment, presence, being open to receive, and then the masculine polarity is the one that's about to be giving that massage, metaphorically, maybe for some of us literally. So, and oh my gosh, when I said that, my left ear literally just felt like it was getting massaged from the inside. Oh. Yeah, and back to that cotton candy realm. There's like this youthful innocence and play that feels also present within this. I paused to check my notes, and then my right ear started to have that same tickle effect that I was just speaking about. So yeah, there's definitely this like Six of Pentacles, like reciprocity sort of thing happening, like an infinity loop, you know. You could be seeing lots of twos, like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 2112 on the timer. Oh yeah. I don't know. Let me see if there was this whole, like I was talking about in the last transmission that I just uploaded, subconscious illumination. And again, the Achilles heel about the subconscious and collective unconscious patterns and the dynamics. I feel like today, the last 2 days, I've been getting a lot of like, hence the title, illumination and clarity on some dynamics that have been sort of playing out in these, in this like inner union process or hierogamos, you know, and then also, of course, can be played out with an external person as well. That whole idea of like the mirroring effect. For some reason, every time I go to talk about it, though, because I have like so many notes on it, like I've been processing quite a bit of 2222 on the timer, quite a bit of this. But as I'm trying to dive into it right now, like my left temple just tightened as if it's like not to go there at this moment. So I will see if it comes through as we go a little bit deeper. But just know that either whoever's listening to this, maybe you've also been doing this. Maybe there's been a lot of like insights coming in. And as I said, that I just heard like a very sort of high-pitched frequency in the left ear, but it was almost so high-pitched. It's like, you know, the dog whistle thing. Like I had to really tune in to hear it. Yeah, clairaudience is really, really potent right now. My ears are 21:11 on the clock and also 11:11 on the clock. I have my phone time and then the clock from the room I'm staying in. So yeah, I feel like my voice just kind of like bottomed out there for a moment. I was walking back from somewhere yesterday and there were these animal noises. I couldn't tell exactly what they were. I was presuming they were some sort of frogs. I didn't bring my phone on my walk or I would have recorded it. But there was this like grate. I guess it's kind of like a sewer grate, and it looked like they were inside of there and it was almost like echoing, like the acoustics were like amplifying the sound. And I just stopped in my tracks and was like, it was just such a crazy sound. And I wound up listening to a reader after I got back, and the phrase, I never heard this phrase before, and she said, stop, speaking of hidden in plain sight, she was like, you know, it's time for you to stop being a frog hiding in the well. And it was like right after I experienced these like frog-like sounds coming out of like a grate, which is like a modern day well, I guess. And I was like, it's just such a weird synchronicity. Anyway, so frogs, again, it feels like there's that idea of, you know, hermiting, coming out of the hermit phase. You may be like feeling like you want to be more seen lately. And again, not necessarily like for, oh, I need to be seen for attention. It doesn't really feel like that. It feels more just like being excited to be back in the world again. And like, it could be something little. Like today when I went to walk to the local bakery, I was just so grateful that I had a few euro to get myself something to contribute to like the local bakery, you know? It was just like nice to be a part of that ecosystem. I don't know. And I just had that moment right after that sprinkle sun shower. So there could be just like moments like this. As I said that, my stomach just started grumbling. And when I said moments like this, it reminded me of the song A Moment Like This from Kelly Clarkson, which I have not thought of in a very long time. Isn't that the song that like she sang when she had her big break? So yeah, there's something about that too. Yeah, like being seen. And I'm not trying to say like everyone here is trying to be like famous and have a huge break, but there's something about like whatever that is for you, like, yeah. As I was trying to say that, I started to feel a little bit of heartburn come up, like burning in the chest. So there could be some fear clearing in terms of like being seen right now, because some of the underlying, lions could be significant. I was trying to say underlying, underlying emotions to heartburn can be like stored fear. Of course, like in the heart and the chest, vulnerability, speaking your truth, etc., etc. I feel like I'm also getting very like, I almost want to just like skip over things. I'm like, everyone knows what I'm talking about. Like when I'm trying to go into the depths or into detail, I almost feel like my body is like, no, please don't take us there, because I've been processing, you know, and I feel like this is like a bit lighter. So yeah, if you're finding this or when you're finding this, it does feel like you could have just gone through, like I said, some sort of like purging. My crown is tickling. There could be some sort of like crown. Oh, and speaking of, Wadjet literally can be depicted rearing cobra known as blah 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 on the crowns of pharaohs. Yeah, so there feels like there is this like next octave anointing within your own subconscious illumination or spiritual elevation. And I don't mean that necessarily from like a well, what I mean is in spiritual initiation, you know, we go through these internal expansions, you know, in consciousness, etc. So it feels like that. Whew, my stomach is making so much noise as I'm recording this. It is really just, it's really speaking right now. So yeah, there could be something about really trusting your gut. This will be really specific, but there could be someone that you feel connected to. Like, you know, when you just lay and listen to someone's stomach, have you ever done that? Like just put your ear, almost like, you know, when you listen to a seashell and you put it up to your ear, it's like there's someone that you're going to feel so comfortable with that you can like just lay and like listen to their stomach make all kinds of choices. I don't know. That's just like the energy I'm getting. And it doesn't have to be that specifically, but maybe, I don't know, have some of you done that to yourself? Are you that flexible? Can your ear to your stomach? Yeah, there's just something. But again, there's just like this this home feeling, you know, like this comfortable, just like silly. There's this game. I don't know if my friend's dad made it up when we were little. Well, I don't really talk to them anymore, but it was a part of my childhood. And there was this game we would play they called it Ha. And you would just like, everyone would lay down. I think we played it at like gymnastics or like a camp or something. And you would like lay down and everyone would put their ear on someone's stomach. And one person would say ha. And like each person would go around. I don't know why I'm being shown that. But yeah, there's just like this like silliness. I just felt like the inner earth fae, the fae, come through like so strongly. They just like whooshed in. So some of you could be connecting with that. And I'm being reminded of a dream that I had years ago. I feel like I've talked about this before, but it's coming through really strongly. Where I was doing the dishes at some sort of, it kind of felt like a like a communal living space. I'm seeing the number 6. And it was very like mundane. Like I was doing the dishes. I wasn't like really showing much emotion. I was just present and doing the dishes. And I remembered like what the kitchen kind of looked like. It was like gray countertops. Yeah, it felt pretty like rustic wherever I was. And there was like a screened in, I was looking out of a window. It was like a screen. Like the window was open, but there was a screen. And there was this like outside area attached to the kitchen with like a screen door that you could like walk to the left and go outside. And I was really focused on trying to get these dishes finished. And these 2 little fae beings, well, I call them fae beings. That's what they felt like. They were winged. They were probably like a few inches tall. And they kept flying next to me and like pulling on my leg to come play with them. And I was like, I'm doing the dishes. Like, I'll be there soon. But they like would not have it. They were like, put the dishes down. They didn't say that. They didn't communicate that way. But they were just like nudging me out the door. So I went out the door and I realized when I looked at them more closely, it was like a version of me. And then like we'll say like the masculine collective. So like the feminine collective and the masculine collective in these, in this other realm. But we were like coming together and they were like pulling me out of the mundane to like come play. Anyway, so yeah, even though I've had that dream a couple years ago, it's coming up so strongly right now. You could be seeing your birthday a lot and or someone that you're connected to's birthday, because I just saw my birthday and I've been seeing that a lot. A lot. Again, the number 6. Astrology, like routines, ruled by Virgo. Also this like the Lovers and Tarot is number 6. I'm seeing like unconditional love templates. Also, I woke up today singing Love on the Brain from Rihanna. You may have heard me say before, sometimes I like, as I'm waking up, I'll say certain words or hear certain things. And yesterday I woke up saying over and over again, the Celestine Prophecy. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. And I looked it up and it's a book, actually. So that book could be relevant for some of you. I did look up some of the like core concepts of that book. I'm not feeling guided to share them at this moment, maybe in a different transmission. But I remember someone telling me that Love on the Brain was actually written about self-love or like love of the self. So yeah, it feels like whoever this is for, there's been this like next octave embodiment of love of the self, which is opening up this next attraction point within yourself, like you, instead of attracting from the unhealed filter, is what I like to call it. And yeah, it's like working through this like Achilles heel. I'm also getting like someone potentially that you're connected to also experiencing this from a flip-flop sort of energy or like a mirrored dynamic. There's something that I've been talking about for a long time in some of these dynamics where it's almost as if you're experiencing, I used to foster cats and I've been around like animals most of my life with who have like been abused at different points or just different experiences, and this dynamic has often felt like working with, and I'm not calling anyone an animal, but like working with that dynamic of like a feral animal. Like you have to have a lot of patience and trust their own timing and let them kind of come out of their shell and just be like a safe haven. But at the same, so I actually heard a different person on YouTube talking about this dynamic today, using that as an example. And I was like, oh my God, I've literally been saying this for so long. I don't even know if I've talked about that on YouTube, but like, so it just reminded me. Anyway, so that was coming through. And again, I was reminded of this idea of running. you know, like they talk about runner teaser, blah, blah, blah. And I was having these repeated messages and patterns come up for me over the last few years about like how I'm running. And I was like, I'm not running from I'm not running. But there was this like subconscious part of me that I realized today. I mean, I kind of already knew this in some ways, but it came in so clearly today, and it felt like a collective feminine energy in some way, where again, that mirror dynamic coming through as like a fear of control, blah, 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 you know, like, it's so funny. I'm like trying to dive deep into this, and like, there's a part of me that's just like, blah, like blahing over it, because I don't know why. It's just the way the energy's coming in. So, but yeah, if anyone wants more of a breakdown on this, I do have notes, and I can go more into it in a time where I don't feel like I'm just blasing through it, because, yeah, like this morning I was like so focused on writing all of this out and like deep diving into it, you know? So like it's very important, and I'm honoring that, but for some reason, like I said, it just doesn't feel like the right time to like really dive deep into that. But yeah, I am here for it when the time is right. Let me see if there's anything else. It's so funny. I was talking to my mom about this recently. Senioritis, you know, senioritis, like when someone's in school, like a senior, and it's like the end of their semester or they're graduating, whatever, and they get like senioritis. That's how I feel right now when I'm trying to go into like the depths. I'm like, oh, I feel like I have senioritis. Like I've been in the depths for the whole week, like the past 10 years, like I don't want to be there right now. So that also feels like part of the collective energy. It's like this beautiful illumination comes in, and then you're like in senioritis land. And it's so funny because I didn't realize I was talking to my mom like not even a week ago, and she didn't even say anything to me yet, but I could tell she was like going through like at work. I feel like she has that right now. And then she said something to me, and I was like, yeah, I could feel that in your energy. And she was like, and I said that to her. She was like, what's senioritis? And then I explained it to her, and she was like, oh yeah, I got that. Anyway, so yeah, it feels like it could just be when you feel like you're getting ready for like a change, and you're kind of like ready for the, you know what I mean? I'm not going to over-explain it. But even by me saying that, like, oh, I'm not going to over-explain it, I feel like that's also part of this, like, in-between timelines. Like, when you're making these changes, sometimes, like, we go into the, like, some of those older, perhaps, behaviors or patterns that kind of, like, start to come back around, like that Ouroboros again, but the reaction time or, like, catching ourselves seems to become more and more refined and present, and less reaction time as we continue each time this comes up. So oh, and then the song Sia, Elastic Heart. I don't remember how that came up, but it did, and something told me to like look up the meaning of that song. And it says, an anthem about resilience, surviving toxic relationships, and emotional recovery. The quote, elastic heart metaphor represents a spirit that is flexible and unbreakable, no matter how badly a heart is bent or broken by trauma or heartbreak, it will always bounce back. So yeah, that's kind of like what this feels like, a bounce back. And yesterday or recently when I was recording, I saw a slingshot. And that's sort of what this feels like. So, yeah, there's some sort, I'm hearing the word like redemption. Isn't there a song called Redemption Song? I'm hearing that, but I can't, maybe it's Bob Marley. That's playing in my mind now. And I was, so funny, I was talking to someone tonight on my balcony. He has a British accent, so that could be relevant for someone. And he was talking about like freedom, and we're just sitting on our balcony. There were no signs of anything. It's pretty dark, actually. We couldn't really see much. And all of a sudden he's talking about freedom, and part of the reason why he travels is to find different places, because where he was living in in the UK, he was starting to feel like Big Brother, and he was like, I needed my freedom. And as he said that word freedom, a horse seemingly out of nowhere in the dark just starts like neighing, like so loud. And like, I don't think he caught on to that symbolism because he just kept talking. But like in my mind, I was like, this is so funny. There was like this horse just like, as he's talking about freedom. And, horses tend to represent freedom. So and we're in the year of the fire horse. So it was just like very like freedom codes, freedom. Okay. I feel like I'm like slurring my words at this point. I'm very sober. I don't know what's going on with this energy. Like I'm almost starting to feel like my eye is swelling. Like I feel like parts of me are starting to swell up. Very interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I don't know. I'm seeing bee therapy. I think some people are like utilizing bees as a form of therapy now, or like, yeah, there's some, or maybe someone who has like allergies to certain things, because like, yeah, I'm seeing like, what was that movie with Will Smith when, oh my God, Eva Mendes, when he has an allergic reaction and his whole face is swelling. I don't know why I'm just seeing swelling for some reason. But it's also like that same thing again, like sucking the poison out, like sometimes you swell up and then release it. And then my nose is itching. Like all these things are just starting to happen. Someone just slammed the door. Like, but I also keep like lingering in this energy. Like I'm like, okay, we're going to end this transmission. But then there's like this lingering. So that could be part of the energy as well. 41:41 on the timer. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going, I don't think I'm going to do an overflow for this one, but it feels like there's more to come. So I will check back in and see. Ooh, before I go, I did just feel a pain on the left side of my belly button. I'm also hearing the word hernia. Just take these if there's any confirmations for some of you. I'm seeing like a key ring, the initial J. I'm seeing Thomas J from My Girl. It's funny because the song My Girl was playing in my head the other day, and I was like, oh, I haven't thought about the song in so long. It might have come through another transmission. I cannot remember. Oh, when Thomas J loses his glasses, and he's like, I can't find, where's my glasses? I'm seeing that too. 42. I'm seeing like 40s. Does anyone remember like back in the day when you get a 40 in like a paper bag? I don't know where you showed that. Yeah, like sitting on the stoop. Where I grew up, we sat on a lot of stoops, so. I don't know why like high school is coming up right now. The movie Serendipity. There could be like, like songs, album covers, movies, books. Like you could be starting to see like some of your dynamic, like relationship dynamics that are like coming through in like movies or books or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.